Okay, so picture this Thanksgiving dinner at Mar-a-Lago, right? Trump just won another election.
Another one.
Yeah, well, fictionally, of course, but still, it's Mar-a-Lago, so we're talking
Yeah.
total extravagance, celebrities everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk, Sylvester Stallone, the whole gang. But uh, the reason we're doing the deep dive is not the guest list. It's because
Right.
we found this satirical piece that is just wild.
It's pretty out
It's got
there.
George Carlin God and Sitting Bull all crashing this Thanksgiving dinner.
What a combo.
I know, right? So we got to unpack this. Like, what are they doing there? What does it tell us about all the different ways people see Thanksgiving?
Yeah, because that's what's so interesting about it, right? Like you've got this over the top setting, the celebration of,
Power.
exactly. And then these three figures who each have a totally different way of looking at the world.
It's like they're from different planets almost.
Totally.
So, okay, let's actually set the scene. Like, we're talking gold-plated everything, people dripping in diamonds, that whole
Oh, yeah.
Trumpian vibes.
And then boom, Carlin God and Sitting Bull walk in.
Talk about a mood shift.
You can practically feel the temperature drop, Carlin, with that, that signature.
That biting sarcasm.
Yeah, exactly. God with this quiet, all-knowing presence. And then Sitting Bull. Well,
You can only imagine.
I mean, just picture his reaction to this whole spectacle.
And it doesn't take long for Carlin to just let loose. He's like,
Oh, he goes on.
he calls the whole thing an orgy of self-congratulation. And
Yeah.
it really makes you think, right, like, does this, even though it's satire, does this reflect something about how we celebrate Thanksgiving?
Mm-hmm.
Now, have we lost that
Yeah, that
continuity?
that's exactly Carlin's point, isn't it? Like he contrasts all this Mar-a-Lago lavishness with how Biden was talking, focused on unity and being grateful for the simple things.
Right. It makes you think about what values are really on display here.
For sure.
And it's not just Carlin. Even God agrees that Thanksgiving's meaning has gotten kind of, but God's a little more hopeful than Carlin. He even mentions Biden's peaceful exit from the White House.
It is interesting how they use those two perspectives. You've got Carlin, who's always been this voice of,
Social criticism?
right, calling out the hypocrisy, and then God offering a more optimistic outlook. I wonder if we as a society are more drawn to...
Cynicism or hope?
It's a good question.
But then things get even more interesting because Stallone thinks he's being funny and decides to dress up as a Native American chief.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's dancing around doing the whole bit, and obviously Sitting Bull is...
Not having it.
No, he's offended. And it's bigger than just the costume. Right.
This is where the satire really touches on a sensitive issue, the way Native American culture has been misrepresented and
Appropriated.
Exactly, especially around Thanksgiving, Stallone's actions, even though it's supposed to be funny. It just highlights how much...
Ignorance is still out there.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking.
And this time it's Carlin who tries to do something about it. He tries to get Trump to see what's happening, to understand why Sitting Bull is upset. But Trump's clueless.
He's totally oblivious.
It's a powerful image. And it makes you think about whose voices get heard and whose get ignored.
It really shows the disconnect that can exist between people in power and those who are...
And marginalized.
Yeah, you can just feel Carlin's frustration in that scene.
Totally.
Yep.
So, in the end, they all leave Carlin. God, Sitting Bull, they walk out completely disillusioned by the whole thing. But God still holds on to some hope, which is so different from how Carlin ends up feeling.
Right, like Carlin's pretty pessimistic.
Yeah. What do you think about that ending?
Well, I think it asks us a big question, like how do we choose to see the world right? Are we more like Carlin with that pessimism, or do we lean towards God's hope? And I think the bigger question is, how do those outlooks shape our actions?
It's something to think about, that's for sure. We started with this satirical Thanksgiving dinner. And it's opened up all these questions about gratitude, about cultural sensitivity, even about how we engage with different viewpoints.
Yeah, it's amazing what this piece brought up, but I think the big takeaway is that even a holiday like Thanksgiving can be seen in so many different ways. We all have different experiences, beliefs, and values that we bring to the table, and it's important to keep questioning, keep learning, and keep the conversation going.
Keep it a bit in mind.
Exactly. So what about you? What are some of the values and traditions that are most important to you, especially around this time of year?
That's a good question. Something to reflect on, for sure.
Definitely.
Well, we'll be diving into a whole new set of ideas next time, so
Stay tuned.
stay tuned, everybody.